Welcome to Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973, an inspirational podcast about the ups and downs of life and everything in between. Here's your host, Shane Lakita.
Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973. I'm your host, Shane Lakita, and I have a lot to talk about today. It's been a minute since I've recorded my last podcast, and it's a little bit of time, and some things have been going on in my life, and things have been going on around me, and the mental side of everything has gotten in the way. All kinds of stuff has gone on. Well, this is Labor Day. I'm recording this on Labor Day because it's a day that I don't have to work, which is different than normal lately because I've been grinding so much at work and putting in a lot of hours and really building a good team and working with people that I love to work with, which has been a positive addition, from a previous employment that I had from before to where I am now. But, I got to confess, guys, here we are. All right. So you guys all know that I use this podcast as a therapeutic thing for me. I sit down, I have conversations with all of you because I know that if I can speak truthfully into the microphone to all of you, it can help somebody that's out there. Whether you're going through the same things, whether you're going through similar things, whatever it is, I know that I can relate to somebody that's out there and I can make a difference and make an impact in someone's life. So here I am, okay? So COVID comes around. We're going through the whole entire thing. We're quarantined. I got a lot of stuff going on, but I'm staying pretty steady with my weight. I'm staying pretty steady with everything that's going on, mentally, depression-wise, everything. I'm in a good spot. So around November of last year or so is when I found out the time frame of when I was going to lose my job of 16 years. Now, I was told this in a way that was pretty much, I went in for interview, I thought I did pretty good, then was told, you're not good enough, and we're going a different direction. Have a nice day, have a nice life, right? So, your sense of value drops tremendously. You start to feel to yourself, wow, man, all the time that I invested, all the things that I've done, all the energy that I put into everything, you start to reel a little bit. You start to struggle. You start to believe that you aren't really worthy and you aren't really in a place where you think you are. You think you're good enough. You think you're strong. You think you're an individual that's helping and whatever else, when in all actuality, at this moment in time, when you're told, no, you're not good enough and have a nice life and go find something else and go do something different because we've chosen to go a different direction because you're not part of our journey. That hurts, right? So early December timeframe is when I found that out. So I had to go through all of the Christmas timeframe, all of the holidays, knowing that after the holidays, I was going to lose my job of 16 years, no more 401k, no more benefits, no more any of that stuff. And I'm just going to have to kind of wing it and kind of figure things out and start over on a new journey and think about what's going to happen. Then I thought to myself, okay, so what does that mean for my social media? What does that mean for my podcast? What does that mean for everything? I'm going to lose my job. I might have some more time, but I need to find a job that I can pay the bills because we have a mortgage and we have to pay for now marketplace insurance and all these bills that come up and whatever else. So the stress starts in early December, goes all the way through Christmas. I'm stressed out of my mind. I don't really know what's going on. All this different jazz is going on. And I'm just like, man. So all these things are happening to me in my mind, in my world, that like anybody else, stress adds a lot of just bad things in your life. It's bad on your heart. It's bad on your body. It's bad on everything. So I started to gain weight. I started to eat. I started to eat my feelings. I started to eat the things that, all the things that I've talked about on this podcast before, the things that I've struggled with in the past, the things that I know that I shouldn't do, I started to do. And I started to dig in and I started to think to myself, man, all these things are happening to me. I'm a good person. Why are bad things happening to a good person? Why does it have to happen to my family? We haven't done anything wrong. We haven't done anything to harm anybody else. But instead, now we're in this place where I have to find a way that I can pay for our mortgage and pay for our bills and pay for our stuff. And my son, as he gets older, he gets more expensive. Everything gets more expensive. He's starting to drive. Insurance prices go up. All this different stuff is weighing on my shoulders, left and right. right? I started to lose a couple patron members of the podcast. I started to gain weight. I started to go down the road of not exercising. I started to crawl into that hole again, that hole that a lot of us find ourselves in when we close ourselves off whenever, stuff happens and the crap hits the fan and we're sitting around going, man, you know what? Life just sucks. It just sucks, right? So that's what this confession time is all about. I just want to, right-size it with you guys because I haven't even recorded as many podcasts as I normally do because of that exact reason, because I feel like I'm not worthy of producing content. I'm not worthy of putting stuff out there for people to be able to listen to, because who am I to tell somebody else how to live their life when I feel like mine is unraveling in and of itself? Now, mind you, all this stuff is going on, and I have a great support system. My wife is, my best friend and my rock, and she's my ironclad person who's going to stand right behind me to lift me up when I need it and all that stuff and hold me accountable when I need it as well. But on the same token, all the words that she can use and all the things that she can do literally don't make a difference when you can't find it of yourself. Now, I'm sharing this confession with you because I want to set the stage for what this episode is going to be about. We'll get to that in a minute. So here we are going through the month of December, knowing that on January 4th, after the new year, I'm no longer going to be working for the same company that I have for the last 16 years. And here I am trying to find things that are happening. I see the prices on the marketplace for insurance, $1,000 a month for us three to have full coverage insurance, not even including medical or vision or dental or anything like that, but just health insurance on the marketplace. Excruciatingly expensive. So I start to get depressed about that. The good thing is I got my credit cards all paid off. I'm in a good spot. Okay, great. I'm sitting on the good end of that one where my outstanding debt isn't as high, but I still got truck payment. I still got a car payment, and I still got insurance, and I got insurance to pay for my kid and all this different stuff. So all these bills are just looming over my head, and I got all this stress that's going on. I'm putting on weight. I'm eating poorly. I'm all this stuff, and it's a vicious cycle. Left and right. And I started to then get to the place where I always talk about, which is we're going to segue into this podcast, is I started to then loathe myself. I started to then say I am not worthy and I am not somebody that, really should be even in this space right now. Wouldn't I be better off not around or any of those things? Now, I know that sounds really harsh and detrimental and really bad, but those thoughts ran through my head. And I'm honest with you. I'm truly honest with you. And I haven't been back to a therapist until now in a long time. After I got out of the military, I suffered depression. I suffered this space that I was playing in where I really had a hard time transitioning from military to civilian life, and I needed to go get some help for that. So I got to a place where I was able to actually wean myself off that, took some meds, but was able to get my head right and get my head straight and lived a really good life. And then I got into the place again when all this traumatic stuff was going on, death of my grandmother, all this other stuff, resurgence or recurrence in my head of my dad passing. All this stuff was going on. And so I started to be less than who I really am. And it started to affect me and my relationship with my family. The way I treated my wife, the way I treated my son, the way I treated my podcast, the way I treat my community, the way I treat the patrons, the way I treated everybody, I just started to shut down. I started to say, you know what, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of all these people that love me and adore me and want to be able to lift me up and encourage me, when at the same time, I don't feel that way about myself. So I just focused on whatever I had to focus on, put out some content every once in a while, really kind of sporadically at best that was there, and just kept grinding. Kept going through the motions in a bad way, not in a good way. Grinding in a good way would be that you have intentions of really getting to a place and really moving forward. I was grinding through just going through the motions. I was grinding through waking up in the morning, trying to stay in a positive place and continue to move forward when I really wasn't feeling like it at all. Wasn't feeling like getting up during the day. I wanted to crawl under blankets, wanted to, not even be seen and do the things that I have to do. So there's many different avenues, as each and every one of you know. I'm on all these different social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of them. I'm on all of them. And the pressure that was felt and the fact that I was feeling this way about myself and knowing that I had people that were waiting for content from me or that looked forward to the content with me or really loved my lives or the interactions that I gave with folks or how I made them feel or anything like that. People left and right were waiting for me to be a part of that, and they wanted me to continue to move forward when I wasn't ready. And I realized as I went back to therapy, you're not ready. You're not ready. You're not ready to dive back into that yet. That was hard for me to hear. It was hard for me to hear that the thing that I love doing the most, I couldn't necessarily do at full capacity because I wasn't ready and I wasn't mentally prepared for all the things that I had to do. In a really small form, not necessarily as many other people go through PTSD with traumatic experiences. Mine was a PTSD based on the fact that my whole life is upside down now. And now I have to face reality of this scary, scary place that I'm entering. And you're all part of that. You're all part of this journey with me. When I do go and create, when I do record podcasts, when I do any kind of social media content, I do it with the intention of knowing that people are depending on me, which is great. It's a really good thing to have, but it's also a lot of pressure. So I found myself, I was at a place where I was then starting to do all this stuff for others rather than for me. And that's what this whole entire podcast is about. This podcast is about making sure that you are investing in yourself before you go and invest in others. Before you go and try to be able to do things for other people, show love to other individuals before you even think about showing love for yourself is the wrong approach. I always say we did this exercise a while back on a social media post that I put out. And what I said was I brought my coffee and I stood in front of the camera and I said, hey, listen, I want you to do me a favor. I want you right now to list all the things that you're most proud of, list all the things that you love, list all the things that you care about, all the things that are right there at the top of your list. Top 10. Make a top 10 list. And everybody that did the exercise went through and they did it, whatever. And then I asked the question on the back end of that conversation. Okay, great. So now you're at a place where you've listed your top 10. How many of you have listed yourself in any of those top 10 people or top 10 things? And there wasn't a soul, not an individual, that listed themselves in that place where they are proud of themselves, where they think that they're worthy or anything. And it stood out to me. Why we're so difficult on ourselves, I don't know. Why does human nature make us be our own worst critics? Why are we the people that break ourselves down all the time? Why can't we love ourselves? Self-love is something that is so important, yet is so missed in the world. How many of you wake up in the morning and tell yourself, first thing in the morning, like the space that I'm living in right now that I'm trying to get out of, is literally when I wake up in the morning, I think to myself, I'm overweight. I have a job that I love to do, but it has no benefits. I'm not providing for my family as much as I was, where I actually took almost half my pay cut. Am I really proud of the things that I'm doing? I'm not sure. My kid's growing up. He's going to be leaving the house. It's going to be empty nest soon. All these different things, these words that are coming into play are all these negative thoughts when I first wake up in the morning. When I believe wholeheartedly, if you start your day off with positive affirmations or moments for you to step back and say to yourself, this is what I'm most proud of. This is what I love about me and my life. This is where I need to go down the road of being a better person. These are the things that I'm doing, and these are the things that I'm most proud of in the journey that I've lived already in my life to prepare me for whatever it is the next steps are. Right? So this is the space, as many of you have heard on this podcast before, if you start off with a positive affirmation or a positive word, or you put a positive note on the mirror when you're shaving or doing your face or whatever it is, and you think to yourself, how can I make a positive impact and what can I do as I move forward? That's the space I love playing in. That's the space that works for me for many, many years. But now I'm in a place where those words don't matter. I look at the mirror and I say to myself, positive impact, positive inchmact. On TikTok, on one of the platforms that I'm on, the algorithm goes through and cleans out sometimes, and you start to lose some followers. Instagram does the same exact thing. It happened to my buddy Mud Hustler, my buddy John. 60,000 followers. He's really working hard and putting out different recipes and designs and all this other stuff, and he really, really works hard to it. And then he loses 1,000 followers, and he's like, wait a minute, what just happened? Same thing with me. I started losing followers on TikTok during the same time that my mind wasn't in the right space. So then I started to get really into my head with social media and all this other stuff. So all of these perfect storms were happening left and right. And then I had a conversation Conversation was with a couple friends of mine. We sat down and we talked about how I find myself trying to give to everybody else. And they asked me the same question that I asked everybody else on that social media post. And they said, hey, why don't you take your own advice and say to yourself, how high do you rank yourself in prioritizing you and your journey? And how often are you investing in you? Are you going to the gym? Are you working out? Are you eating healthy? Are you taking meditative process? Are you sitting down to, collect your thoughts? Are you reinforcing positive affirmations? Are you surrounding yourself with positive people? Are you doing the things that you know you need to do, that you tell everybody else in the world that listen on this podcast to do? Are you taking your own advice? And I had to answer, no, I'm not. And they asked why. I said, because the brain is a really, really messed up thing sometimes. I said, because we get in these places where we just can't get out of the funk. And I got to go get professional help. And I did. And it helps. I know I've told you guys 1,000 times before. If you're feeling like you're at a place where desperation, depression, and all these things have overcome and overwhelmed your life, go get the help that's needed. Go to seek the therapy that's necessary. If they prescribe medication, don't shun the medication. Do what you have to do to be able to get yourself to a place where you can actually start to understand and dig in on the root causes of why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. This matters. It's uncomfortable. It's ugly. It's dark at times. But it matters. It matters because you're investing in yourself by doing just that. You're digging into the root cause of why you are feeling the way that you're feeling isn't a bad thing. Don't sell yourself short and feel like you're less than because you are trying to be able to fix a situation, because you're supposed to be proud and you're supposed to be awesome and you're supposed to be incredible and you're supposed to be on point and you got it all together and you're a mom or a dad and you got it all together and everybody sees the surface exterior of what's going on with you, or the Instagram or TikTok visual that people see where they see somebody that's in control of everything that they're doing when internally you're not. Don't feel less than because you go to get help that is necessary. Don't feel less than because you go to your friends that you know are going to give you some really good feedback and some positive reinforcement, or to help you navigate this whole entire journey, and you let them know, I'm struggling. I'm really in a bad place. I need some help. It's not a bad thing. That's more of a sign of strength than it is a sign of weakness. If you can admit to the fact that you are struggling and then you go to get the help that's necessary for you to bounce out of that, or try to be able to continue to pull yourself out off the ground, or after you've fallen, you're just trying to lift yourself up, and you're giving yourselves the resources, you're giving yourself the people around you, the folks that can help lift you up and do what you have to do, that is strength, folks. That is a place of strength, not a place of weakness. But I know how that feels, and I know that it's easy to fall into the rut of thinking that it is a place of weakness. It is something that, as a man in society today, I need to be the backbone. I need to be the man that stands up and does the things that needs to be. I need to be the breadwinner. I need to be the person that is there for my wife and my son and my family. I need to be the person that holds the glue together and does everything together. And if I get hurt or I do whatever, I just rub a little dirt on it and I walk on and I do what I have to do. No, that's not the case. I'm just as sensitive. I'm just as vulnerable as anybody else that's out there. Admitting that is not a bad thing. But admitting it shouldn't be the only thing that you do. Get the help that you need. There are many suicide prevention hotlines. There are many different help networks that are out there. There are many things that you can do. You can call your doctor and let your doctor know, your practitioner, your PCP, and just say, hey, listen, here's the thing. I'm not feeling up to par. I feel down. I'm depressed a lot. I need some help. Now, mind you, there's a lot of folks out there that'll tell you it's too much money to go to see a therapist. It's too much to do those kind of things. So all the other things that I talked about could be things that you can put into place if you can't afford to go to a therapist or whatever, which is sad to me that we can't afford to go to see a doctor to get help. But that's okay. I get it. I understand. And I also understand the fact that the health cost is expensive. I'm paying $1,000 a month for 3 people that have insurance top to bottom, and I still have a deductible on things. I still have to pay out of pocket certain things. Kidding me? Anyway, so here we are with the other things that you could do. If it's not something that you can do with your overall feeling that you're going to be able to go to your practitioner or anything like that, or whatever it is, you can go and do different things that can help you, such as meditation. Take 10 minutes out of the day. I talked to a buddy of mine named Mitch today. He's really cool. He's over on TikTok, really thoughtful guy. And he said, I take 17 minutes and I sit down and I write down, I focus on one positive thing in my life. And I have to really, really focus through that and battle through all the other demons that are going on in my head and all the other avenues and all the other noise and all the other stuff that's going on up there that's shaking it up and trying to be able to break me down. I'm going to continue to push forward and try to work on this one thing that I find to be positive in my life. And I'm going to continue to fight through that. That's his meditative process. That's where he writes things down. He continues to move things forward. So there's many things you could do. Journaling. You can talk to a friend. Have a almost like what it used to be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where they used to have the phone a friend. Have a phone a friend that you know you can trust, a person that's going to give you honest feedback, positive reinforcement, and lift you up to where you need to, and also help you along the way and not let you fall. Call that phone a friend and lean in on them. If you cannot go to a doctor to be able to do so, try to be able to surround yourself with the tools and resources for you to be successful. Because you know what that is? That's a sign of self-love. It's a sign of self-care. You deserve it. And for those that are feeling great, for those that are on point right now, you're in that zone of feeling like, you know what, I got it all under control. I feel like I'm in a really good spot. We're good to go. It doesn't matter. Continue to go down the road of making those practices part of your life. Journaling. Write down those thoughts when you're feeling really great to help you during those times when you're not feeling very great. Use that phone a friend to call somebody else to be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to call you because I've been thinking about you, been on my mind. You never know how you might lift them out of the darkness and them out of the doldrums because you're on point at that moment in time and they need your positivity. You see, the mind works in so many different ways. I'm not a medical clinician. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but I'm a guy that goes through stuff just like everybody else. I'm a guy that struggles every day. Sometimes whether it's with weight, sometimes it's with depression, sometimes it's with finances, sometimes it's being a parent, whatever it is, I struggle just like everybody else that's out there. And that makes it relatable. And you know that I know that you know that I know because I've been there. And I'm going through it with you. And I know what you're going through. And I understand what you're going through. On the other hand, everybody's journey is different. So the steps and procedures that one person might tell you on a podcast may not be the exact thing that you need. But if you are working towards a better goal and you are working on helping yourself, that's the first step. The first step is to start to love yourself. Hardest thing to do in the whole entire world. Why is it that way? Why can't we be proud of the things that we've done? Why can't we be proud of the person that we are? Why can't we be proud of the things that we've accomplished and not always living in the space of I want to be better or I want to be different or I want to grow a different way or I want to go a different direction or whatever it is. It's okay to have those kind of thoughts, but why do we live in that space of always breaking ourselves down when we should be celebrating the things that we do and celebrating in who we are and the person that we've become and the parent that we are striving to be and whatever else you can think of, all the things that we struggle with every single day? If I've got 100 more pounds to lose, what about any pounds that I've already lost? Or even if I've gained weight, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to work today. Today is the day that I put one foot forward and I continue to move forward. So if I make a good decision at breakfast, great. If I make a good decision at lunch, awesome. If I make a good decision at dinner, celebrate in that. Say you had a good day and keep moving forward. It's so difficult. You know why? Because we set such high expectations for ourselves. We set such lofty expectations. For me, in my situation, where I was paid six figures to work for this company that I worked for 16 years, working my way up from the bottom all the way getting up to where I was, and then here I am, I've lost it, and now I've lost my job. Does that make me less of a person? I damn sure felt that way. I felt like I was way less of a person. I felt like I couldn't do anything else. I felt like I'm not worthy of anything. Why? I'm still the same guy. I've got the same education. I'm still the same dad. I'm still the same husband. But why all of a sudden am I thinking of myself differently based on what some conglomerate corporate Scrooge says to me that I can't do anymore? Right? Based on their opinion and their view of what's going on. Or based on the fact that I wasn't part of the network that they were, and they wanted to surround themselves with the people that they know. As changes were made, right? But it made me think differently of myself. It made me devalue who I am. The value that I bring to the table for other individuals, the value that I bring to myself, all these things that I do and I work on, I started to make it less than what it was supposed to be because of this person that said, you are no longer working here because I don't find you worthy enough. You didn't make the cut. Okay. But a lot of us struggle with that, don't we? If you're going for a job against somebody else and the other person gets it, it's devastating. When you're going for a race, a two-man race, and you're running down the road and all the marbles are on the line and they beat you by 2 seconds, it's devastating. When you're going down the road of turning in the paper, of this term paper that you feel you did so well at and you eloquently stated the facts and you put everything out there and it's 20 pages of just heartfelt stuff that you put out there, and then all of a sudden you get a C or a D on it because of some grammatical errors or some other stuff that goes on. It's devastating because we hold ourselves to a high standard, and then when we don't get to the high standard or we don't follow the path that we think that we should be following, all of a sudden all hell breaks loose, and it's devastating to all of us. It's devastating to each and every one of us. And then here's the other part. The other part is we then start to take it out on other people in our lives. We then start to wear down our other individuals because we're not feeling up to par. We feel depressed. We feel down in the dumps. We feel less than. So not that we intentionally try to do so, but because of my sadness and my sorrow, I'm bringing other people down that love me and that are passionate about me, that are used to me being a positive influence, are now like, well, what's happening? And so they start to feel it, and they start to be down, and they start to spiral out of control. While all the while trying to be able to help other individuals and do the things that we have to do, at the same time, it's really difficult to bounce back from that situation. It's difficult to be able to navigate that space without needing the help and the assistance that we need. So here's the thing. Out of everything I just said, I'm being honest with you. I'm just being raw. And I'm trying to be able to put it out there for you guys because this is one of the reasons why I haven't recorded as many podcasts. But I'm back right now. One step forward, and we'll see how things go, right? Because I feel like this is therapeutic for me. It should be therapeutic for me. That's what the podcast is about. It's about the struggles. It's about the ups, the downs. It's about all the stuff that we go through. Not just the unicorns and rainbow stuff. Not just the celebratory, high five, jump around and get crazy. This is the mud. This is the muck. This is the mire that you go through in life when you're trying to be able to accomplish goals and trying to be able to accomplish things in life with being a good parent, good employee, or whatever else you're trying to be able to do. And a lot of us think to ourselves, it's too late in life for me to redefine myself. It's too late in life for me to be able to be pushed back the way that I am or whatever. It's never too late. It's never too late. I have friends that are in their 60s, late 60s, early 70s that reinvented everything about their life. They cleaned things up. They did what they had to do. They went sober. They're traveling around. They're going around the country in an RV or whatever. I have friends that are doing these kind of things because they decided our time is now. It does not matter. Late 60s, early 20s, teens, 30s, 40s, or 50s. It doesn't matter. Your time is now. And so my time is now. So even though the time or the dynamic has changed, the landscape has changed, and I'm in a space where sometimes I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing, I know that it's never too late for me to be able to continue to move forward, change things around, and be able to put one foot in front of the other. Now, as for the weight loss, I've done a little bit better over the last week or two. I've started to really get my head wrapped around what I'm eating and really starting to, identify the fact that, it takes away from some of those emotions, the emotional eating that I normally do. I've done a little bit less of that over the last 2 weeks. And so that's a win. That's a celebration. I need to continue to do that. I'm not the heaviest I've ever been, but I'm a lot heavier than what I was at my lowest in the last few years, right? But that's me calling myself out and having a moment with you guys to make sure that there's a level of accountability, but there's also a level of honesty with you. Because I'm here with you. I'm here to be able to help you. I'm here side by side going through the same crap that you're going through. Because I know that we can do this together. If I can do it, anybody can do it. If I can do it, I know you can. And if you can do it, that inspires me to know that I can as well. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. You guys are amazing to me. I love having you in my network. I love having you in my life. And I hope you understand that. I hope each and every one of you understand how much it matters to me when I do go on the microphone, even in vulnerability, even in anxious nervousness that I have, that I want to be able to put my stuff out there. You matter to me. Each and every one of you matter to me in my life. I appreciate you. You matter. And we'll talk soon. I think I'm going to record another one soon. So we'll keep a good consistency going. And I just appreciate you guys and all the support that you give me every single day and everything that I do. Thank you so much. And we'll talk soon.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast. Please do us a favor and leave feedback and a 5-star rating on whatever platform that you use.